In the turbulent heart of Port Charles, tragedy often finds its way through the cracks of legacy, ambition, and unresolved vendettas. As summer begins to scorch the city, so too does a new wave of chaos, ignited not just by fire but by vengeance. This time, the flames licked dangerously close to home, both literally and metaphorically, for the Corinthos family, leaving destruction, doubt, and deep emotional scars in their wake. The blaze that engulfed Charlie's pub was not a random act of arson. It was the calculated spark of a long-simmering grudge. Jens Sidwell, a man with a veneer of legitimate business and the eyes of a predator, had made no secret of his desire to gain control over Sonny Corinthos' waterfront holdings. When negotiations failed, when Sonny, in a rare show of restraint, refused to bend, Sidwell chose to communicate his displeasure in the most brutal, unequivocal way possible: with fire. The images are now seared into the collective memory of Port Charles, Charlie's Tavern, a longtime sanctuary, consumed in an inferno that many are calling an act of war. But it wasn't just property that burned. For Sonny, the real terror ignited when whispers began to circulate that Kristina had been inside the pub when the fire started. In an instant, the mob boss who'd survived ambushes, betrayals, and years of warfare was reduced to a frantic father, clawing at information, desperate for news. As emergency crews fought to contain the flames, Sonny paced the perimeter like a caged animal, dread thick in his throat. If Kristina was inside, if the daughter he'd fought so hard to keep safe was another victim of his violent world, then this wasn't just an attack, it was a declaration. Kristina's history with trauma is as long and as complex as the Corinthos family legacy. From the moment she was born, she became collateral in her father's war-torn existence. She was kidnapped as a child, nearly blown up as a teenager, and spent much of her adult life entangling herself from the web of corruption, betrayal, and bloodshed that defined Sonny's empire. For Kristina, Charlie's wasn't just a pub. It was a symbol of normalcy, of independence. To have that space turned into a war zone was more than cruel, it was poetic devastation. And if Kristina indeed was present, if she was pulled from the wreckage battered, burned, or unconscious, it would not be the first time Sonny's enemies found their leverage in the broken bodies of his children. Years ago, Michael took a bullet meant for Sonny and slipped into a coma. He survived, but not without emotional scars and a moral compass permanently knocked askew. More recently, Michael again found himself at death's door, this time from a blast meant to dismantle the Corinthos household entirely. Sonny's penthouse, once a fortress, became a fiery death trap. That Michael lived at all is a miracle attributed to cutting-edge care in a burn unit across the Atlantic. Yet as one child healed, another seems fated to fall. The Corinthos name is as much a shield as it is a target, and Kristina has long teetered on the edge of its consequences. Her personal tragedies, losing her child, grappling with her sister Sam's death, and surviving a devastating fall, have not left her unmarked. And now, just as she was regaining footing, fire brought her to the brink once more. A city watches and waits, praying that her injuries are not fatal, fearing the psychological damage might be. The truth, however, is that Kristina is not the only one Sidwell seeks to punish. This is a campaign, slow, deliberate, precise. Sidwell's obsession with Sonny's family has turned pathological. The photos, the surveillance, the targeted attacks, they are no longer business moves, they are personal vendettas. Sonny's refusal to sell the pier wasn't just a financial obstacle, it was an insult, a challenge. And Sidwell's response is a calculated, escalating strike meant to dismantle Sonny not from the outside, but from within, by striking those he loves. Jason Morgan, Sonny's longtime enforcer and brother-in-arms, has warned for years that the children should be kept out. He's advocated, even pleaded, for an exit strategy that never comes. Jason lost his own future chasing Sonny's war, lost time, relationships, even himself. Now, he sees the same threat looming over Danny, his son. Jason's loyalty has limits, and each blood-soaked incident brings him closer to reevaluating just how far he's willing to follow Sonny into darkness. The question now is not whether Sonny will retaliate, it's how far he'll go, and who might fall in the crossfire. And then there's the ghost of Morgan, the son Sonny couldn't save. The car bomb that tore Morgan from this world was meant for another, but Morgan's death became the cautionary tale no Corinthos child could ignore. His absence looms heavy over every hospital vigil, every shattered glass, every new target. Kristina's proximity to death this time evokes painful echoes of that loss, turning fear into fury, and grief into guilt. How many more children must Sonny lose before he admits the world he built is also the one that destroys? As the fire investigators comb through rubble and detectives scour for leads, the question lingers like smoke in the air: will justice be served, or will vengeance take precedence? Sonny has never been one to wait on the slow hand of the law. And with each passing hour, his restraint wanes. Sidwell may have made his move, but he's forgotten one thing: Sonny never loses quietly. The mob boss is wounded, and a wounded Sonny is the most dangerous kind. Still, at the core of this escalating crisis is a family in pain. Kristina, Michael, Jason, all have been reshaped by violence, by fire, by grief. There is no separating the Corinthos legacy from its blood price. And perhaps that is the tragedy that eclipses even the flames at Charlie's pub. That survival is not freedom, that love is not protection, and that sometimes, the most dangerous enemy isn't the one outside, but the empire built with your own hands. As Port Charles rallies and recovers, the city holds its breath. Because in the ashes of this fire lies a reckoning. And the next move may be Sonny's last chance to save what's left of his family, or lose them forever.